Welcome to Running for Real, a global community with a shared love and curiosity for running. Together we reconnect with the reasons why we love to run and discover ways it helps us become better people. Whether it's the quiet moments of a morning run while the rest of the world still sleeps, or befriending the strangers next to you at the start line of a race. We are here to connect with others who see running as the common thread that weaves our lives together. Come join me, Tina Muir, as I talk with people from all walks of life, united by a love of running. Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 337 of the Running for Real podcast. And do I have a personal, special, one-of-a-kind episode for you today. You are going to get to listen in on a conversation between myself and someone who I have mentioned in, if not almost every interview I've ever done. I have mentioned his name hundreds of times. And I can honestly say, and you will hear me say this to him, I would not be here right now. I would not be talking to you right now. I would not be doing any of this. I wouldn't be living in the US, none of it, if I had not crossed paths with this person. This is one of the most pivotal human beings in my entire life. And I wanted you to hear the first time I ask him his side of our connection, of our meeting, of our relationship together, because it is so powerful. So why am I making this so cryptic and mysterious, and who is this? Well, I want to introduce you to Brad Plummer. Brad was my coach who I started training with when I was 14. And when I say training, he became almost immediately a mentor. While he was my coach, you're going to get to hear that he actually did so much more than that. And you're going to get to hear me ask him about what his version of the events were, because I've never actually asked him what he remembers about the day I met him. And so this is a really personal conversation. You're really going to get to know Brad and his personality. And this is definitely a very different episode to usual, but I hope you will enjoy it. And I'm sure you have someone in your life who is the equivalent of a Brad to you. So this is also a good reminder to go check in with that person, to reach out, to thank them for the role that they played in your life. And if you do that, I would love to hear. So without any further ado, let's get to the episode with Brad. Give your health and your immune system a boost with omega-3s and ultra spirulina from the world's most sustainable grower. Örlö Nutrition grows algae in pure sustainable abundance with zero pesticides or environmental pollutants in their first of its kind aquaculture plant house in Iceland. Their products are better absorbed for better results. This means you get all the benefits from omega-3s, from heart health to brain health to immune system function, without those fishy burps, so thank you, or the nasty aftertaste that they leave afterwards. Their polar omega-3 structure boasts 3 times the absorption of fish or other algae oils, and yes, it's made of algae, which means it is sustainable. Örlö is the future of nutrition. Omega-3s, pure plant protein and micronutrients that provide all the benefits without damaging the Earth's ecosystems, so people and planet can thrive. I've been using these omega-3 algae supplements from Örlö Nutrition for a few months now, and I love that I can get this without it being from fish, which is not a particularly sustainable method. But Örlö also goes above and beyond to make sure that they are taking care of our planet in other ways. The container that it comes in is glass. It comes in a paper box or a cardboard box. There's no plastic or anything involved. They also have an immune support spray, which I love and I can use, and I had been using when I was dealing with that nasty cold a few months ago. And I use it whenever I can feel anything feels slightly off, just to give me a bit of a boost. So you can go to örlönutrition.com and use code TINA10 for an extra 10% off at checkout. That's ORLO nutrition.com and use code TINA10 for 10% off at checkout. And if you act fast enough, they have a New Year bundle going on right now, so you can get up to 37% off. So go take advantage of that. It's going to be cut off any day now. So go get that special offer of up to 37%, or you can use code TINA10 for making sure you get that 10% off if you miss that order. Go to orlonutrition.com to check it out. Brad, this is... Well, I don't even know how to begin this. I would not be recording this podcast without you.
Work it out.
Work it out.
I'm not famous, Tina.
You are to me. That I literally would not be sitting in this room right now. I would not have this podcast right now. I would not. I mean, you are the catalyst for everything in my life. So welcome to my podcast. I am honored to have you here with me.
That's most gracious of you. Very kind of you to say.
So this is going to be a different conversation to most of my conversations, in that I have talked about you, Brad, endlessly. Every time I get interviewed and they ask me about my past, I always bring you up, because without you, none of this would have happened. And I recognize the sacrifice you made in making me who I am today. And so I've always dreamed about doing this with you. And so I really want to pull back the curtain and show everyone who this mystery Brad is that I talk about. And so I thought maybe we could go over your version of our relationship to see if it matches with mine, and just to hear a little bit about you and your journey. So maybe we could begin with just a little bit about you and your running before you met me, because it's not quite as smooth sailing as maybe someone would think for a coach.
Well, so you want to talk about my background?
For a few minutes. Yeah. Look.
Well, basically, my background is I've been running all my life. Mm-hmm. I come from a sporting background, from a junior school all the way through. Now, when I got to senior school, they recognised I had a talent in running. I used to go on the PE sessions, run 2 mile to everybody 1 mile, and still be back before them. I was cross-country champion for 5 years in the school. I still hold records in the school for cross-country, 800 to 1,500 metres and the 3,000 metres. So that's where my prowess came from. And when I left school, I joined a local running club which ran on a cinder track down in Stevenage. And I took it from there. And then I just progressed on from there. As I went through my running career, I just had to learn about where I wanted to be. And as I progressed through the running distances, I found my forte from about 5,000 metres upwards to the 10,000, then progressively on to the marathon and half marathon to the marathon. And then subsequently ran a 2 hours, 25 minutes, a 10 mile in 50 minutes. So, my life took on a journey, and that journey took me all around the world. And that's where I met my wife, Svetlana, of now 28 years. So, like I said to you, I progressed to you. Life is a journey, and that's what it's all about. So that's where I come from. And then, obviously, in the midst of that, I had a very, very bad accident, and I got ran down by a pickup truck, which then caused me to have 5 years of my life taken away from me. Yeah. And I was told I would never run again. And with the operations I had 20, I think it's 22, 23 ops.
Oh my God.
My left side is made up of various screws, optic fibres, pins that hold my face together. So I had my jaw busted, my chest damaged, and my knee, my cruciates and my lateral ligaments damaged. So from 5 years, it was a long, long journey, mentally and physically, to get myself back to some kind of running. So that was a journey in itself. for me, mentally and physically. But I achieved it because I ran a marathon, and as I said to you a long time ago, I gave you a London Marathon medal.
You did.
Which is the medal that I ran the London Marathon. And it was the first time that I ever ran it with that physicality.
Yeah.
So to achieve that of never physically trying to run that again was, I used that as what would I say? I use it as an inspiration for you to progress on with your life. You know what I mean? As in, take your running to a next level, which, as I said to you before, I clearly see, and everybody else see it for me. You know what I mean? So I knew then, but time has to be done at a slower pace, and everything has to be taken one step at a time. Hence why I held you back. So that's, I talk from experience. I met runners over the years, so I learned from them. It didn't matter if they were a novice runner to an elite runner. I trained with worked with Hugh Jones out in Portugal some time ago, and I ran with him, and he obviously noticed something. So obviously there's something there he see. Obviously at the time, my naivety obviously didn't see it, you know what I mean? So, but again, there was opportunities for me to progress from, but I knew I had injuries, so I knew I couldn't go anywhere too far. But I managed to represent Great Britain with the disability side of things. So, and I ran 5,800, and I won gold medals in 3 and 400 gold medals in 3 different aspects of that. So I could have gone to the World Championships, but obviously with the knee, I have to take it as it will let me do it. So again, I'm fortunate to get back into running. So, and for me to run was just because I got sick, and my life was taken away from me. Once I had that accident, my life changed completely. That's how I got into coaching. I used my experiences, I learned off other people, and that's how I crafted my own view of how to run and when to run and what to do and how to help a person get through where they need to go. I learned by my mistakes to add to help with their mistakes, and then to progress on to them to learn where they need to go. And hence, you, as that product, has moved on and established where you are now in your life. For me, it's all about helping other people. It's never been about, myself. I would never tell you what I've done, where I've been, what I've been doing. I have pictures, I have medals, I have stuff. I'm not there to boast it. I'm there to help other people. If people want to see, they come around the house, they can see it for themselves. As I showed you on my camera. I'm not allowed to put everything up because that's like a little bit dubious of the situation, which is there's so much of it. I will dwarf the house, but I'm allowed to put a little bit up. So, but again, it's about experiences and then learning, and learning off other people, regardless of their talent. You always learn off someone who's probably only just come into running. And then there's people, elite people you speak to and you learn off them. So it's all about learning all the time. You don't know everything. No one ever does. And it's all about learning the craft. And when you learn the craft, then you perfect it to your own abilities, as you have done yourself.
Yeah.
And everybody's done that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing a bit about you. Before I move on to when our paths crossed, do you think without, you said about always wanting to kind of give back and always it not being about you and boasting and kind of saying, look what I've done. Were you always that way, or was that what the accident taught you?
Oh, no, I've always been that way. I'm always there to help others. When I was out running with other people, I noticed youngsters that ran with me. and I knew they had talent. I'd take one guy who won the New Zealand Marathon. He ran a 10K with me at the age of, I think, 13, 14.
He'd run a marathon and then he did the 10K with you at 13?
No, he ran with me when he was about 13, 14.
Oh, okay. All right, okay.
He ran this 10K with me out on a training run. And he ran with me, and I stepped up the pace, and I got quicker and quicker, and he was still there. And I was thinking, this guy has got some talent. And I knew then that somewhere down the road, he will go on to better things. And surely enough, he lives out in New Zealand now, and he won the New Zealand Marathon.
Oh, cool.
So there you go.
Yeah.
It just goes to show, but I just passed on odd advice. He used to come around and nick my racing bike and stuff to train off it. But I said to him all about, when you have injuries, try and cross-train, try and stay on the softer ground, work off a bike to help yourself. And he done exactly that. And I'm sure over the years when I've had him, he's always been grateful to me. So, again, there's another guy I could talk about, Ross. He's a physio, right? Okay. Now, I took him on as a youngster, right? He's now a qualified osteopath, right? Chiropractor. He's looked after me sometime when I had problems. Weird situation to be in when you've got someone you taught is now looking after you. Yeah. So that's a great, it's such a wonderful thing to see. Yeah, sure. When they've learned off you and they're now looking after you. It's a great thing to see, honestly. Yeah, beautiful. It's never been about, I've always had time for people, no matter what it is. Yeah. But I like to see people get on. And I've looked after many athletes over the years. Hopefully, I have something I've rubbed off on them to help. Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, and as when paths need to change when I was coaching yourself, and we went over to Bedford and Alex, but they're important things to help you progress on your running career. What you got to remember, I play a part, right? I'm only a part of what you've done, right? Right? And then there's other people that then came into that and then help you progress to where you are now. Let's
go back then. I want to go from the beginning. If we're going to work onto me, okay? You ready? Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So then, I want to hear, in your opinion, how did I meet you, and what was the first time you met me, or what you?
I tell you when I met you is when we were at Gosden Sports Park. There's a running track at Wellington City. Now, your dad brought you down. Now, you're recommended by your old school teacher.
Yeah, Joy Allen.
Joy Allen. And Joy Allen said to me, this girl's got something. I said, okay. Now, what I found out in the latter years that Joy spoke to me and said, this person like hiding away, did you like running? And I think, my God, only if you knew now that this person got like running, and now look at her, And you came down on that, I think it was a Tuesday evening with your dad. You came down, you didn't have to say good to a boost to nobody, right? There was yourself and a few other girls down there. I think it was Nikki and I think it was Pepper and a few other people.
Rosie.
Yeah, it was Pepper. Yeah, Rosie and stuff. Again, they all had their own genres, right? Okay? And we all worked as a group. Everyone was looking at us because everything I was doing is totally different from what they were doing. They're all working there. Excuse the pun, but they're working so hard on the track at a young age. I found it a bit, for me, too progressive. Everything has to be built up. And first, when you teach somebody, you need to look at their everything. You need to look at their strengths, their weaknesses, and then build on that. So you look at technique, you look at how they're running, their mental side of things and how they come through different training sessions. And then also work it so they are learning, but they're enjoying it, not walking off going, I'm not coming here again. I can't cope. I don't want to come here again. You know, it's all about you coming back, learning more and progressing with it. Now, I'll give you an example. Nikki, over the years, was always an has-been, but she ran a 400 from her PB was 85 seconds over a 400. I took her up to Horsham and she ran 64 seconds.
Yeah.
Right, and she won this race. Now, that is a massive step for someone to take, and then someone to take hint on where she's gone and where she moved to. And the same for you, Tina. You didn't say boo to the geese, but there was something there. Okay, mentally, okay, you had excuses on the way around the track. But
Did I like say that?
Yeah. It was sort of kind of, oh, no, I'm not sure. But you knew there was something, right? And as your dad would tell me, she has issues, but as I knew over the years, that came to fall. Yeah, okay. And your dad said, no, hang on a minute, third lap, no, don't, she's getting it, no, she's having a mental moment here, okay. Her mind's got to be strong enough, and your dad knew you very well.
Yeah.
Your dad very well. But like I said, it takes time, but the only way anybody's going to learn is to learn slowly and progressively. And if something in your head will just click, and something will click into place. It only takes a few races to build up. It's not about going out every weekend winning a race, because as I can tell you, and as you full well know, anybody at the top, where are they now? Where are they now? They've been worked so hard, and as they got older to a certain age, they're gone because they're burnt out. It's all about progression. Progression is very important when you're building a young athlete up to where they want to go. And then it's the building blocks to someone's future. And that's for you. And that's why if you ever thought, I'm sure in your mind, you had that doubts. And your parents had the same, because your mum said to me and your dad said to me, I think they felt like they weren't giving you something that you needed to get, okay? But I knew what I was doing, but to hold you back to the right time to then go out and do what you needed to do.
Yeah.
And as you went through your running career, that progressed on.
Yeah.
And as that's where it went.
Thank you to Athletic Greens for partnering with Running for Real and myself and allowing us to continue the work that we are doing. Now, today, I want to talk to you about Athletic Greens. This time of year, it is especially important to consider this, because not only are you getting 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source ingredients, this comprehensive nutrition in one single scoop, which is how I start my day every day. Even if I'm going immediately out the door on a run, it doesn't upset my stomach. It just is an ideal way to start my day. You're also building a daily habit in 1 minute, and it's going to promote your gut health, support your immunity, boost your energy, and more. Not only those things, but with your order, when you sign up through my code by going to athleticgreens.com/Tina, you are going to get a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 free travel packs. The vitamin D element is so important this time of year for most of us. We are coming into the winter. This is a time when our vitamin D levels drop. And if you let your vitamin D levels drop too much, it's going to wreak havoc with your training and with your life. It really is so important for us to keep that, as we are not getting the vitamin D exposure from the sun. And I love that Athletic Greens has decided that they are going to give us the opportunity to put those two things together, so you have everything you need in one scoop. I love having it every morning. I know it is going to take care of my gut, take care of my immunity, boost my energy, and help with recovery through superfoods, adaptogens, and antioxidants. It's like your insurance policy. So no matter what you eat in that day, you know you have given your body nutrient-dense foods, you have taken care of it, and you can go about your day and enjoy this season. So go to athleticgreens.com/Tina to check it out. That's athleticgreens.com/Tina. I do remember, your training being totally different to everyone else's. And I kind of remember coming to be around, as I kind of got better, I started to be around other people who were at the top of the age group, under 15, under 17, and coming into awareness of how much training they were doing. And really seeing that when I did that week I did in Portugal with Nick Anderson, and being like, wow, I'm doing barely anything compared to everyone else. I think for me, there was some version of like, why is he not letting me do more? Why is everyone else doing more? I could be better. But now I look back on that, and I say this every time, is I don't know how you had the restraint to do that, knowing that you were never going to be the one next that it would say my name next to when I was, 30, 40, whatever, like down the road, because you, like, especially once I went, was going towards the US, like, that was it. Like, and so I can always bring you up, but like, I just don't think many coaches would have been able to do that and say, you know what, even if it doesn't make me look good, I want what's best for her.
You hit the nail on the head. It's what's best for you, Tina. It's about the person you're engaging with. And the important thing is, it's not me. I'm only part of that, right? Okay? If I'm part of that to get you where you need to go, that's the important thing. It's not about my name in lights. I'm the one that got you to the world championship. I'm the one that won this. I won that. I'm just the foundation of where you want to go, right? And in where you want to go, my pride and my proudness is when you actually achieve it. That's the end goal, right? When you achieve something like you did over those years, that's my goal. Nothing else. It's about getting you on the right road to where you need to go. It's so, over the years, if you looked as you did, and we travelled around on the Reebok Challenge, okay, there's some great races there. Remember going to, where was it? Stormont, the hotel there. That
in Ireland.
In Ireland. Yeah, Dad's phone on the table and still there the next day.
I just want to pause this to explain this. My dad was insistent on this phone when everyone else had upgraded to a smaller phone. My dad had this literal brick, wasn't it? It was like the size of a brick.
But and he would carry a very wise man. Very wise man. I'm telling you, honestly, Tina, very wise man. But I would say about your mum and dad, and it's very important to mention, right? Your mum and dad were the rock of your support, honestly. They see what I see, right? And they gave you everything and everything. I can't thank your parents enough for their kindness towards me, to my son when he was young, coming around and looking after him. Your dad trying to teach my son a little bit of golfing. We still got the club. He did my son, so it was great. But it's all part of the process of getting to where you need to go to, and that was the important thing. Is like I told you at the early part of your career, life is a journey, and the journey is getting you to go to races like we did when we did the Reebok Challenge, Wales, Scotland, Ireland. We travelled everywhere. I made sure we PR'd it. You're in the paper. made sure people see what I see, yeah? And no matter where I went, on any of those cross countries, track, people came up to me from any, I don't know, from elite end to the lower end and said, that girl's got something, right? And when people say that to you, you think, it's only then a question of time when something needs to click, yeah? Right? And also, that clickness has to be where you need to go, yeah, as in your career. Yeah. So when you're path crossed with other people in the running trade, you know, that's where you pick more things up. You know, when you spend time in, as you would go back to, I don't know, Portugal, and they were training extremely hard. You know, they're more worn out than you were, right? But you probably then had less injuries, less accident on your progression than I did.
Well, and to be fair, that was a group of adults. I just went with India.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yes, it was definitely like eye-opening to see how much they were running. And me doing like half of it and being tired.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's about building into it and not over-aggressing it. If you did that when you were young, then you wouldn't be the athlete you are today.
No, I know that. Yeah, I mean, I am fully aware of that. Yeah.
And that is where everything you did as you grew as an athlete and as you grew as a person, right? That's where you learn, you know, and that's where it all comes from, you know.
Yeah.
It's never been about, it's would have been about progression and helping you, you know, and getting you to where you need to go. I tried with other people, but I just couldn't, you know. They had other ideas. And as one person said to me, I'm taking my girl to another club. I said, okay, then you take your girl to another club. She was good, but went to this other club. I knew what this guy was going to do. He was going to up the training, really work her hard. She was going to be good for maybe, I don't know, a couple of months. And then all of a sudden, bang, she'll have a bad injury. And then she'll be on the wayside. So where's that going to get her? And it's all about one step at a time, getting there when you need to get there.
Yeah.
And that's the same for you. You look what you achieved, Tina, and look where you've been and look what you've done. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's your journey. I'm only part of it.
I know you are. Yeah. A ginormous part, but yes, I get your point. Can you, are there some maybe funny stories or funny moments you remember of me or things that I did or we did that you, other than the brick phone, that you want to, that maybe you could share with people and me? Like the essence of Tina, if you or our relationship.
Essence of Tina. Well, I would say long discussions after running around a track or across country, wondering why your dad's come up to me and said to me, no, she's gone again. She's gone to sleep. Not a son. You leave it so late in the race to then pick up and really charge on. Yeah. So you start the race pretty progressively. You get to the middle of the race and you go all quiet. And then by the end of the race, you're absolutely flying. It's like you've had a click moment, you know. Then the long discussions I had with you after to try and get you to sort of, I think you had a little bit of self-doubt when you were young.
A lot of bit.
Okay, okay, a lot. But it had to be worked on. But you had to find that belief that you were quite capable of doing it. I think you spent a bit of time trying to look at other people, but you need to be thinking about yourself more than anybody else in the thing. And you know, again, at races, you produce some fabulous runs. Absolutely fabulous. Ireland was a good one. You can say yourself. Nice for me, going away and going to these competitions was all about building a bond, right? And building a bond with who you're with. No, we had some really good times when we went a place. Remember Cardiff? When we went to Cardiff. Remember that hotel? That hotel was the weirdest hotel I've ever been to in my life. Honestly. It was like walking into some kind of dungeon, upstairs, downstairs, in the stairs. It was the shortest time I've ever been in a hotel in my life.
Yeah. We didn't stay there, did we? We went somewhere else?
No, we walked in the rooms. We said, what? I said, no, we're going. We've got to go. And then we went to, I think your mum spoke to your dad. And then I think your mum had a discussion with Catherine. And then we all decided that you found something else. It was the Angel, was right near the castle. Yeah? I think it was about a 4-star hotel. We all buggered off there. Much better. Much better.
Yeah.
There's a bit more with it. We were right on top of the race.
Yeah. I do remember that. Yeah.
And that day, I had a meeting with all of you. I stepped you aside, I sat you down, and I spoke to you. What the ambitions of tomorrow will be, where you want to go with it, And I remember talking to you. I said, look, you only got to give it, I'm not asking for much. I'm asking you to run a reasonable race that you'll be happy with, and we can both be proud of, And that's it. Don't have a negative thought. Just have a positive one and spill into it. It's all about a learning process. I think, and I think as time went on with me and you, that progressed, and that was a good thing. So for me, it's about trying to channel into your head, to convince you are good, and you just need to take a step back. Don't worry about what's going in front of you, and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And then later in your life, it has progressed. And, what you've done now and where you are now is confident to yourself, isn't it?
Thank you to Tracksmith for sponsoring this episode of the Running for Real podcast and for partnering with Running for Real. We are so thankful to the loyalty of this incredible company for their support, and they're giving us the ability to be able to continue with the work that we are doing, which we know is so meaningful, and they recognize it too. Tracksmith is an independent running brand inspired by a deep love of the sport. Comfort and durability are paramount. Enter the Brighton base layer. Yes, my favorite. I talk about it all the time. I have the same ones that I've had since 2018 that are in exactly the same condition. They last well, and that's the number one thing we can do environmentally to be thoughtful with our purchases, especially with that apparel industry, is to get long-lasting, durable items. Okay, going back to what I got off track for a second there. Tracksmith Brighton base layer is a museling-free merino wool blend that beautifully regulates your temperature and fights odors on the trail and the roads. If you go to tracksmith.com/Tina and you use the code TINA15 at checkout, it will give you free shipping, and you will be able to support Rising Hearts, which is an Indigenous-led grassroots organization committed to the heart work in elevating Indigenous voices, promoting and supporting intersectional collaborative efforts across all movements in cultivating community with the goals of racial, social, climate, and economic justice. Now, this is the nonprofit of Jordan Marie Daniel, who you have heard me talk about a lot, and I love that we are able to support them through Tracksmith. Through they want to give back to the community. That means so much to me. You can also check out the Elliott Runner, which is their daily trainer that has a P-Bax powered. There's a P-Bax powered trainer inspired by the PEP of New England's natural surfaces, and you can check out some of their other best-selling items. But again, for me, if you're going to get anything, the Brighton base is by far and away my favorite. So go check it out. Go to tracksmith.com/Tina to go get that free shipping and to give 5% of your order to Rising Hearts by going to tracksmith.com/Tina. Hi friends, I just quickly wanted to interrupt this episode just to let you know to go check out our Red S Realize, Reflect, Recover resource that is available on YouTube. 50 videos for free with experts. It doesn't matter if you do not run much, if you think my body weight is normal or I eat a lot, or you think I don't run fast enough, I don't run enough miles, I'm a male. All these things are still relevant when it comes to Red S. Red S can affect any of us. And if you have been feeling off in your training, or if you are someone who thinks, you know, if you struggle with insomnia, if you struggle with perfectionism, if you tend to have digestive issues, if you tend to get really cold fingers, especially when it's not actually that cold outside. And did I already say insomnia? I can't remember. Insomnia, those are also symptoms of Red S, in addition to the obvious one of period or low testosterone, missing period or low testosterone. I just want to remind you to go check out our YouTube channel. So go to YouTube, find the Running for Real platform, go watch those playlists and learn. I promise you will learn something. All right, let's get back to the conversation with Brad. So I want to, you saying about like now and also earlier on you talked about your like London for you and going back to London after your accident. When I did London in 2015, like, was that a weird feeling for you? Like,
it was a weird feeling.
Full circle?
I'll tell you something. I was up there watching you come past. Okay, you were motoring. Okay, and I did see you. So it was a great thing. It's kind of strange for me seeing somebody I coach and to see in a London marathon running past me, you know. That's great, but it was a proud thing as well. So you come down that road. I think it was. I'm sure it was after halfway stage, wasn't it? I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was around about 14, 15, somewhere. It's like on the crossover. You know where the crossover, where you could cut across and get back to near the finish? Somewhere on, I can't remember the bit now where it is.
After Tower Bridge?
Yeah, I think it was, somewhere around there. But it's where you came down there. And when I see you come down that road, you know, and I'm thinking, well, look where you come from. You come from someone that sat in a changing room saying, no, I'm sorry, I don't want to run. I'm not interested. Can't do it. Then to go out and do something like a London marathon, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know.
Well, and I remember watching you. I remember you doing London. I mean, I don't know how old I was, 14, 15, somewhere. I remember because this was before they had like the trackers, and standing there for like hours, like scanning the crowd, like looking for you.
Yeah.
And my eyes going blurry. And then I was looking for you so hard.
Many people, weren't there?
Yeah.
Going past.
Yeah. And then,
really
then for me, that meant a lot that I remember watching you, and then you were there, like watching me do it. And that was that was still to this day my favorite race.
Yeah, but you had
that race.
You had an iconic hat. I could spot you a mile away. You had a hat on as well.
Oh, did I? Was it yellow or blue? I think I had yellow one.
Yeah, I think it's the yellow one. Yeah. So the time when we see you go by, I said, no, there she is. There you go flying by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, you come down that road doing what I did, but you as a youngster seeing me, it's a wonderful feeling and a proud moment for me, you know, to see someone who's then moved on to that distance and ran some incredible times. You know, if you look at your distance running times, they are some really, really good times. And then to have people like Dave Bedford and all the rest of them say what they said about you, you know, it's really, really a proud moment for me. You know, that's all about. It's like I did when you were young, PRing, making sure in the paper, making sure people are aware who you are or what you're doing. I did it for you, but I did it for making sure that club knew that you were progressing in the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously it's like any running club, it all has its issues. But for me, I just made sure that I PR'd it. So, and I was well in touch with the the guy in the papers and that. I just ring him up, give him a report, and he used to put it in the paper. I used to send him clips. I've got the clippings now, Tina.
Yeah, I do too.
I keep them all, you know what I mean? I've got them all, so I could go back and I could see pictures of you when you were young, you know what I mean? So quite a few I could go back.
Yeah, definitely.
And I found coaching girls were far more, no disrespect to the men, but we had one guy I coached, and two guys I coached, were very disciplined. I found the girls were more disciplined and more willing to learn from what I was doing. So, you know, and like I said to you, you know, when you come to a training session, it was all about, I established what you're feeling that night. So if you're up to it, then I made sure you done something reasonable. If you're not up to it, then you did something a bit more light-hearted, because the whole point of coming to training is not about, no, you've got to do 10 times 400 at this pace and that's it, and we're done with it. Make sure we're in these times. That's not the right way to go. Mm-hmm. It's got to be any run you do or any race you enter, it's on the day how you feel.
Yeah.
And it's the same with training. If you're not feeling up to the run the next day to run hard, then you run easy.
Yeah, it's always instilled that in me, yeah.
It's another day. It's another day. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with injuries. Injuries. It's like I said to you, the slightest niggle, what do? You don't go, no, I'm going to run 10K hard tomorrow in 30 minutes. No, I'll take a rest, do some stretching, bit of ice, bit of that, bit of this, give it a bit of recovery. Then I'll be able to run in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
It is all about you looking after what's required. You don't look after the tools, it ain't going to work in the long run. It never will. You know, if you go out and thinking, well, I need to do this because I've got everybody looking at me, thousands and thousands. I'm sure the top athletes in the world, I've had that thought when they've gone into the Olympics, they've gone there half fit, and they've gone on the assumption they're going to do well. Mm-hmm. But they know underlining they've got an injury. That's their mistake. And then when they enter and when they do it and they don't do well, that's their mistake. And then they get the other side of it after they finish. End up with an injury, end up being out, end up getting ridiculed by the media. Instead of thinking, no, I'll take a step back here, there's always another year. You know, that's how you have to look at it.
Yep.
And the same for you. You know, you look at over the years of where you've ran and what you've done, you have obviously tried to instill in you, keep things in the back of your mind about when to run, when not to run, how you feel, and what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And those little thoughts, hopefully, are still there.
They definitely are. You are.
Hey,
you instill the right messages.
When you do something, okay, I'll tell you, there's one race I ran with you. No, actually, it could be two.
You ran a few with me.
Aston 5.
Yeah, and flipped it 10K.
The Aston 5, that day, no word of a lie, Tina, I was on fire. Honestly, I felt really good. Honestly, considering my bad knee.
I remember.
I was like burning hot. Honestly, I could have ran a lot quicker than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it weren't about that. It's about running around with you and then letting you go to the latter end. I'm sure in your mum's mind, or maybe your dad's mind, I don't know, I think it was Lynn's mind, maybe, that I shouldn't have paced around as much as I did. You know what I mean? But I tried to disguise it in a little way, you know? But you worked very hard that day. Very hard.
I did.
And you won the race, but I did let it go at the end. But I'm a knowledgeable guy. I know what to do and when not to do it. You know what I mean? So,
I know.
Again, I'm sure your mum, I had the impressions at the end your mum had reservations about it, but I tried to leave it at that. But you've done a brilliant race, and it was one of the best races. I thought it was great. It was a great day for us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was,
It showed me the potential. It summed up everything I worked with over the years, that was there, and it was all progressed. And I had no doubt in my mind that latter years, wherever your life took you, as in your running career, right, will progress onto that marathon. And it did. Yeah. But it showed me on that 5 mile, and that was a hilly course, no easy course. Yeah. That was down a ford, up a dirty grey hill, up another dirty grey hill, and the finish was up a dirty grey hill. So it was quite progressive.
Yeah,
it was hard. You know,
but
yourself.
I did do better on the harder courses generally, didn't I?
Well, no, but I think you thrived on the harder courses. Actually, thrived. If you'd been a flat course, you wouldn't have bothered. But hilly courses, you were like me. You had that bug. Yeah. Hilly courses, I'm going to fly on this. I'm going to go for it. You know what I mean? That's what you did.
Do you remember when I went the wrong way in the county championships?
Yeah. Yeah. But again, I'll revert back to Svetlana. Svetlana did it over in over in Stevenage. She won in the race by miles, absolute miles. But at the end, someone sent her down the wrong path, ended up missing out on the first place. But she was miles ahead, absolute miles ahead. But it's just an unfortunate thing, you know. And the other race was, the Flickwick 10K. Remember that?
Yep.
We did that 10K there, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you ran really well there, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that was a really flat and it was kind of flattish, quite fast run, wasn't it? So that was a good run that day, you know. And then my other, what was it? I would say, I met you in Milton Keynes on a half marathon.
Yeah, that was later on. I think I was like 18 or 19.
Later on. But all I would say to you, because I was so proud inside myself, right? And I can only tell you this, right? I'll tell you now, right? Even though your dad said, oh, no, we don't know PR, she's famous. I couldn't resist. So when this bloke, when they heard, because you're like running around the race and it's coming over the Tina Muir, she's in front, she's flying along, blah, blah, blah. And this bloke said, who's that? I said, I coached her. And so I thought, I don't know. I'm not going to hold back here. I don't know, I used to coach her. She's now an international runner, blah, blah, blah. And then it obviously got back because when you finished that race, you had to get an interview upstage.
Yeah.
But that was me feeling very proud of what you did that day, you know what I mean? So I just couldn't resist it, you know what I mean? I thought,
okay.
I'm going to stick her up there and that's it. I'm happy with that, you know, because I can't do anymore, you know, I couldn't. What I can't do now, you're doing for me, you know what I mean? So it was a good thing, you know, it was lovely to see, you know, and watching someone do that, it was great. And I just couldn't itch it, but I knew your dad thought, no, he's obviously said something. We've got to go. But it was good for you because it's a bit of PR and so, you know, nice.
Did you find it hard when I went off to the US, kind of knowing that was the line in the sand?
Well, the line in the sand for me, Tina, is I knew at a certain point, like anything in running is all about, like I said to you before, and I always revert back to it, running is about a journey. And a journey is, I take you to a point, right? As you get older, your life will move on. And once you hit leaving school, if it takes you to university or where you went to the States, then that's a new chapter in your life. And now, obviously, someone sees that and you got that scholarship out in the States, which is a great thing, right? And it's good. Another door opened, which is a good thing. And then you move on. And then, obviously, meeting Steve and other stuff, then moves it on from there. You know, and that's the important thing. So I knew in the back of my mind, you know, I played a part in it. All right, it's hard in one way because you've known that person all that time. But in the back of my mind, it's the right thing to do because you're trying to help that person progress where they need to go. And for me, the end goal was always in about achieving something, I don't know, spectacular or golden, or achieving something that could resonate for yourself for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And that has done things. You achieve certain things. And I remember that quote you said, you know, it's a bit like having your children, you know, your children. Okay, you win the medal. And then you said to me something about, well, having a child is better than winning the medal, you know, which it is, because you're bringing in another life. But on your running career, that has its achievements in its own self, you know. For me, what you did there was for me. That's all about me trying to put you on the right road to where you need to go. And that was the important thing.
Absolutely.
Coaching is all about trying to get that person on the right track. It's not, if you see someone come down like Speedy Gonzalez, who's got so much talent, well, for me, is to slow them up, make them learn to walk first and run after.
Yeah.
Right? Help them to learn skills that they need to understand.
You would do that with us with like running downhill. You'd like line us up and then you'd like teach us how to run downhill. Or like, I remember you and I out on the common ground near my house and we'd practice running. Yeah. That
on the back, what was it? There's a common ground over the hill.
Common ground near me and then Westminster Lodge.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Around the back there. But at the end of the day, it's learning about technique, how to run up a hill and how to run down it, you know. There's techniques to all that. And if you learn the skills of gears, running's all about gears, right? It's like a car. You have to run within gears, all right? Okay, when I was running, I ran in Amsterdam, right? And when I was running in Amsterdam, all I did is I kept myself to a reasonable pace. I stuck at just over 5:15 a mile for the first maybe 4 miles. And then I watched what was going in front of me and I just upped it a gear and stuck in. It was a little bit windy, so I got behind people for the wind resistance side of things. And then as I got to about 8 miles, I just stepped it up the gears and I just dropped to sub 5 for the next couple of miles so I could get out in front, you know, and push on, because I knew that I was watching the guy technique. He was obviously getting tired and I could see it. So that's when it was time to leave. And if he wanted to stay with me, then he had to catch me. That's it. But it's all about running through your gears. You know, if you learn technique will pay you dividends in the long distance. And as you know yourself, a marathon is not, the race begins from 20 miles out. You know, and that's where the race begins. You go through 20 miles and you're comfortable and you're relaxed and everything's hunky-dory with yourself, then that's where the race begins. It's not the first, you know, it's not like everybody, you see the London Marathon go and they're off like 100 miles an hour down the road. You get, hang on a minute, mate, it's another, I don't know, 25 miles to go.
Yeah.
You know, good God, you know, what's going on here? And that's what it's all about. And I said to you, last 6 miles is where the race begins. I remember with, who was it? Sharon, you know, when she ran and she's just outside of qualifying time for the Commonwealth Games, you know, she's only just outside. But if someone had said to her on that back of that milk float, put your foot down, she would have been in and got the time she wanted. But that's one of those things. It's just a learning curve. I remember another guy, a sailor guy, it was a long time running friend of mine. He ran a marathon in 2 hours, 30 minutes and 2 seconds. He wanted to be under the 30 seconds. How agonising is it for those 2 seconds? How annoying is that? You know what I mean? Like seeing coming down the finish line, 2 seconds, 2 seconds.
Yeah, we all know that feeling, messing up.
What you do, you know? And it's just one of those things. But like I said to you before, you know, everything's a learning curve. And that's all I've tried to instill in you, Tina. I can't be proud of, like I always said to you, never forget what I've done. And I've always tried to be, what's the word? I'm in the background, always in the background. That's why I like to stay. It's just I'm not here to. Yes, I'm part of it. That's it. I don't take all the acknowledgement. There's other people who've done their work too. So, and we're just part of a team trying to help someone get to where they need to go on that journey. And that's like I said to you. And I said to you in the hotel many a time, Tina, life is a journey.
Yeah.
Keep everything, numbers, pictures, stuff. It's all part of your journey.
Yeah, so true. Last thing I want to ask you about, a period which I meant to ask about earlier. When I went through that phase in my last year of school of kind of going out a bit too much socializing, bit too much running, like, was that frustrating to watch?
No, it was understandable because I think you got tied up with your later teens, your mates are seeing you, your friends at school. I say, oh, look, she's leaving class, she's off to Ireland on a plane, she's going running. No, she's going to be on TV, blah, blah, blah. Now, your mates and your friends are all friends you grew up with, right? And the important thing there to understand is their life is not your life.
Yeah.
They've got different ways of life.
Yeah.
And what to you is, come out, enjoy yourself, have a bit of fun. Well, the problem is with that is, and the hardest thing with that, you've got to let your hair down is very important. We all have devices, and that's very important in life. Okay, go out and have a dance, but make sure somewhere along the line, it's not when you're doing something very important in your career that's obviously going to take you somewhere.
Yeah.
So, for me, I take a step back. I'm fully aware of what the situation is because my friends, when I was running, oh, you never go out. Oh, you never do this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I'm in Portugal for 3 weeks in the sun, running and training. You're down a pub, blah, 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 There's a big difference there, isn't there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I'm in Scotland running a race, Look on TV, you might see me, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
I'm in the paper next week. Have a look, have a good read, I'm achieving something in my life. And that's, for me, is important to me. If they want to go down a pub, have a dance, great, good luck to them. Mm-hmm. That's what they want. Everybody has a chosen, everybody has have choice in their lives, yeah? Mm-hmm. And what you did, going out with your mates, is no hard thing.
Yeah.
It's important. It's a normal thing in life, Tina. Mm-hmm. Mates getting things, okay, you feel a bit guilty, but you have something. Mm-hmm. And someone, how can I put it? You've got something, but you've got people in the background that have given you all that time and giving you all that support to go to somewhere. Okay, fine, you can go out and do those things. They're important things in life. You've got to go and do them. Try them out. It's a bit like saying to someone, I remember Sharon Morris saying to me, was it Stormont actually, just before, I think the Ireland one was in November. It was November, wasn't it?
I don't remember when it was, no.
Yeah, I'm sure it's November. It's before Christmas, put it that way, right? And she goes, oh, we'll finish this race, I can have a drink, because you can't drink alcohol, go out and run, an international race, can you? You know what I mean? No. You're running with, who was it? Sharon was running with Hayley Yedding and, what's her name? Oh, God.
Liz Yelling.
Liz Yelling and Paula. You know what I mean? Yeah. As a bit of a team doing the same thing. I don't think I could keep up with the team today. You don't mind, do you? I'm sure they did. Do you know what I mean? So, one of those things. So, that, for me, at that time, was important for you to do. Yeah. So, all right, it is a dip, but that's important. Mm-hmm. That's you finding your way, isn't it? That's you. It helps you to understand what you got and where you are and why you're doing what you're doing. Go out, night clubbing, or, I don't know, going for a drink, having a bit of fun, helps you to relax you and makes also, what it does, it gives you awareness of understanding what you're doing on the other side with the gift you got, yeah?
So true.
And that important for you is what you've been doing for many years as a runner, you know, and that's the best lesson I could say to anybody. Anybody's got that thinking, well, I feel a bit left out. Well, by all means, go out and do a little bit of that, but be aware the other side of it, you know, and it's a learning curve. It's all about learning curve, Tina.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what it was about. It weren't about, you know, you're doing what you're doing, you're doing it. That's great, you know. And your parents are fully aware of that. All right, okay, maybe your mum and dad obviously have said something to you, but, you know, I'm sure they did understand as well.
Yeah. I want to just take a moment once again to, I mean, as we've talked about, like, so much love for you. You are, without a doubt, one of the most important people in my life, in terms of just pivotal moments, pivotal people. And I'm glad I got to share that and hear that from your side of things today. I just love you and appreciate you. And thank you for being the person I needed during those years and continue to be a mentor to me. So
Tina, anybody listens to this podcast, if anybody can take anything from our podcast or anything to learn by something I've said or done, then that would be a wonderful thing for me, you know, and that'd be a proud moment for me if anybody can take anything from what they've heard today. Because hopefully, I'm sure it will help them in their quest to where they want to go in their lives, if it's running or whatever.
Okay.
But it's great to chat and finally have a chat about where we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you. And I look forward to hearing what people say about this. So love you, Brad.
I'll be interested in feedback. Okay. Yeah. Hope to chat to you soon. Yeah.
The Running for Real podcast and everything we do here at Running for Real would not be possible if it wasn't for the Running for Real team. While I am the person who you hear from most often and maybe the face of the brand, the rest of our team are such critical pieces of what we do. And without them, I think I'd just be running around in circles with ideas. So I want to take a moment to thank our team. To Jeremy Nessel, who's been with me since the very beginning. Kat McKay, Sally Pontarelli, Kelsey Wang, Sandy Gutierrez, Louise Murphy, Andrew Basola, Alexandria Will, and Maria Vargas. Thank you to each and every one of you for all that you give to Running for Real and our community. I appreciate you, and I'm so thankful for having you as a part of the team. Oh, that was so good for me to hear. It's something I can cherish forever, as hearing that story. Just, you know how much he means to me by this point, and that was such a gift to have that time. So thank you to Brad. Thank you to Joy Allen for connecting me to Brad. And just such a pivotal person in my life. I want to encourage you to go check out links in the show notes for our sponsors and also for that Red S recovery resource, which is now available. You can go to our YouTube channel. You can find Running for Real on YouTube. There's also links in the show notes at runningforreal.com/episode 337. I also want to remind you to check out our sponsors while you are over there. You can check out Örlö Omega-3s by going to örlönutrition.com/Tina Muir. There's also a link in the show notes. And to check out Örlö Dance, you can go to örladance.com. That's OLADANCE.com/Tina to go get yourself 20% off at Örlö Dance. And also to Athletic Greens, my every morning beginning of my day. You can go to athleticgreens.com/Tina. And by the way, I just want to mention Athletic Greens has supported Running for Real in creating this program. They gave us some of the funding to allow us to create this Red S recovery resource on YouTube, because as you will see, it's a lot of work and a lot of time. So I want to thank Athletic Greens for that. But you can go to athleticgreens.com/Tina to go get that special 1-year free supply of vitamin D plus 5 free travel packs. Again, all of that is at runningforreal.com/episode 337. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you on Monday for a Together Run, and I'll see you next week for a regular episode. And remember, reach out to your Brad in your life. I would love to hear what happens.